Alright, I'm going to give a brief tutorial on how to set up a switch circuit. When you start playing this game, Empyrion, you're going to find your base uses a lot more electricity than you produce. And solar offsets it. But the problem with solar on a planet like this is you can see it's nighttime. We have 5 hours to go until daylight, and even if we had daylight, it's cloudy and raining. So we can pretty much forget solar power right now. So in that situation, if you press P, bring up your stats menu, and look at your statistics, we're consuming 220 units of power. We have a couple constructors that are offline though. We're generating 74 power units in the out of solar. We have 31 left in the battery. Let's take a look, and when we leave, if we leave the planet, we want to minimize our power consumption. When we let's see, when we activate these advanced constructors, we see they turn on. Looks all nice, ready to make some stuff for us, but they soak up a lot of juice. We're gonna go up top here. These are offline, so we're going to turn these on. And let's take a look at our power consumption. Activate. Same thing here. We're going to activate this one. There we go. All our constructors are online. Now if we look at our power usage, press P, go to statistics, scroll up to the top here under power fuel, and all of a sudden now we're draining 261 power units. So we've added like 20, 25, 30 more power units of consumption that we're using. So we want to be able to turn this off when we have to leave base, but it's a pain in the butt having to chase all these constructors down and manually switch off each one. So we're going to make a switch that we can turn them on and off when we leave the planet with a basic switch. This switch here I have to manage the lower, smaller constructors here. And we're going to place a switch just for the large constructors. And I have that set up here. And I think we are about ready to place it probably right here, I think. Do we want to rotate this? Is that how we want to position it? No, we want it to be like the switch pointing up when it's on. So it's just for aesthetic and cosmetic uses. We're just going to retrieve and go and put it back in our replace it right there. So this is how you set up a switch circuit. This is our switch now, and we're going to use this to control the 3 large constructors upstairs. So you put your cursor on the switch and press P, the letter P. And you bring up your menu here. There's your main. We're going to go to devices. And this is the new lever here. This is what's going to control our constructors. We're going to go to signal. And we have to create a signal, and we're going to call this big constructors. This is what our signal is going to be called. Let's go back to devices. Actually, we need to put this in a group too, because we're going to group everything together. So let's go ahead and create a group, and we're going to call this group Big Constructors. Click OK. And we now have a group called Big Constructors. Yeah, where is that? Big constructors right there. You see that? There's nothing in the group. And you add, of course, you can add the group by clicking this plus tab here on the upper left. So now we're going to put all our constructors, everything associated with in the big constructor. So scroll down to the bottom, ungroup here at the bottom, and we're going to click on this lever. And at the top left here, where the little piece of paper is, we're going to click Add to Group. And instead of the constructor group, get the drop down menu, and we're going to select Big Constructors. Now you click OK. And now you can see we have one item in our big constructors group, the lever. We'll click and rename this big constructor lever. Actually, I'm just going to go. I think you're limited in your number of characters you can use. So it's called switch. Big constructor switch. And as you can see, the name changes to big constructor switch. Now we're going to go to our large constructors. We have the small ones. We're not going to deal with the small ones. Go straight to our large constructor. And then we're going to click on Add to Group. A little piece of paper up here. What's that? Add to Last Group. I think this will let you do it automatically. Yeah, look at that. It goes directly to the big constructor group. We'll select a large constructor. Add to Last Group. This just saves you this step of manually doing it. You can see we can do it manually like this. Or you can do it automatically. So we're going to click on Advanced Constructor, Add to Last Group. Okay, now we have everything under the big constructor group, the switch and the 3 large constructors. So that's good. We're going to go back to the switch and we have to generate a signal. The signal is called big constructors. You'll notice this is our signal logic tab, and we're associating the signal with the switch first. And it's going to be under the on-off characteristics. So we select the drop-down menu, and we're going to select big constructors. And that is the signal that we're going to generate. Now it's important to remember, when we're setting up the motion sensing lights, you don't want to have the follow characteristic. You want to turn it off because it generates the signal automatically and you want the lights to follow. You don't want behaviors associated with the motion sensor. But now with the switch, there's a number of positions for the switch. There's straight on, to turn the switch on and it's going to be constantly on, or you can have it constantly shut off. Toggle will let you turn it on and off, but it kind of wastes a whole extra step. Follow is the most convenient, so we're going to select follow, and basically the signal behavior is going to follow the position of your switch. So we're going to select follow. So this is the signal that we've generated, and you can see here, and we've selected the signal here, and basically what inverter does is it gives you an either or option. It's either off, or when you flip the switch, then it's on and it generates the signal. So inverter is the circuit type that you want to use for just a basic setup like this. And we're only having one switch here. We might pick one of these other ones if we wanted to have 2 or 3 switches controlling the same equipment. But for this purpose, we're just going to control it with one switch. Okay, now we select the large constructor, and we have to select a signal to associate with it. And we're going to select big constructors, and it will automatically set to follow. And we're going to do the same with the other 2. Big constructors, follow. And we'll do the same thing with advanced constructors. Select the big constructor signal, and we should be good to go. And then just to make sure, we want to make sure all of these are active. So we're going to select each one and activate them. You can manually activate these on the top right. A little switch here. There we go. You can see when I activate the lever or the switch, you can see in the background it lights up. So when I turn it off, that little red light turns off. But when we activate the switch, all of a sudden it lights up in the background. Now this should be the off position, so the equipment should be off. Now it may be on by default when we activated the equipment, so we may need to reset the switch. So we're going to go upstairs and just check the condition of the equipment. And as you can see, the advanced constructor is on. It's powered. And we're going to check the constructors up top. Both constructors are powered here. Alright. So now we're going to turn the switch on and off. hit everything into the circuit. We go back down the steps. Now when we press F to activate the switch, it turns green, indicating that these should be indeed powered. Let's go up and just double check this real quick. Make sure our equipment's powered up. That's what we want. Advanced Constructor is powered. And we're going to check the equipment up top. And it is indeed powered. Now we're going to go back down and we're going to turn the switch off. Oh no, dang it. See, when the light went off, we have a bad signal here somewhere. Let me see what I did. I did something wrong. Hold on. Let's reset everything. Yeah, what happens there shows you what will happen when you have a bad signal. Something didn't go right. And I'm thinking, let's see. Everything's following the big constructor signal. So let's switch this to neutral here. Let's try that. See if that works. That might be what we needed to do. Go back to devices. Okay. So I might have been wrong about that. Let's double check. Let's see what the state of our equipment is. Go up the steps here. Okay, equipment is on. On. All the constructors are on. So, we have a drone attack underway. Oh, this is good timing. Alright. So now we're going to see what happens when we turn the switch on. You can see the switch turns green. It's lit up. We should have power going to all the constructors. Let's take a look. Power to the constructor there. Power going to the constructors. Now we're going to try to see if we can switch off the power. And before I switch it off, I'm going to press P. And just to reiterate what we've done, click on Signal Logic, and instead of following the behavior, we've set this to neutral. So let's see what happens when we turn the power off. Okay, that looks good. The signal is still intact. The red indicator indicates it should be off, but the circuit is still active and not broken. Okay, let's take a look. There we go. The advanced constructor is off. Let's take a look at the large constructors up top. And as we can see, both large constructors are off. So we have successfully created a switch circuit that controls all of this equipment here with the flick of the on-off switch. And we save by doing this. We're getting ready to leave. As you can see, we are using, let's click on statistics. We're using 255 power units of energy right now. By switching this off, 230. So we are saving 25 power units by shutting these down. So very good, very interesting. Let's check the map. Let's see if we're getting attacked yet. Not getting attacked just yet. Let's have a little fun. Normally I would shut the video off. Oh, I'm getting low on food. I should probably get some food. And you'll notice I have motion sensing lights all up in my upper levels right now. Just before dawn, we have a bit of a radioactive fog out there, but it looks like it's dissipating. And we need some energy bars. Let's get some of those going. Survival constructor. There, we got 4 energy bars going. Switch to our sniper rifle. We're gonna go take these drones out. Interesting. But what I need to do is I need to activate my hover ship so I can use the Gatling gun turret on there. jetpack on it, press J. See the little jetpack indicator on towards the left, bottom left side. Let's jump on over here. Oh, it's still on. Good, good. The ship is still on. How are we doing on fuel, actually? Let's take a look at our fuel tank. Not bad. Oh, here they come. They're coming. So I gotta be careful of. I really should be careful. Where are these fuckers? There we go. There's another sucker. I died. That's alright. My cannons will finish them off when I respawn here. That was not the best. Not the best move. Respawn at current location. Oh, there goes another one. And do we have one more coming? Here's my radar tower here. Habit of breaking my leg here. Yeah, I got a broken leg. Tell me all about it. And let's go and check the wreckage, see if we got some goodies. A couple mechanical parts, not bad. Not great, but not bad. Ooh, a couple capacitor drives, those are nice. That's always good to have. Ship a bit. That's what kind of ticks me off. Oh yes, flux coils. Big flux coils are awesome. So we've survived another drone attack. Check my ship for damage. I'm probably going to need to repair it here. Ooh, look at that cockpit. That thing got beat up. Get your multi-tool, select repair. Repair the sun here. That got banged up. You just basically, when you're repairing your ship, if you got into a fight like this, I kind of wish they could show you the health or the armor rating of your block, like in front of you on the HUD. But at the moment, it looks as if okay, that's a green jet lifter. I have one on this side, correct? Yes. So it looks like the way you handle it is just that you can see it's weak by looking at the armor rating on your lower right menu there. But if you don't want to waste your time and look around, just kind of go through and click on different items. If the block is at max health, it won't fire repair beam. And if it does let you fire repair beam, then it obviously needs work. So this is looking pretty good. I think everything is intact. So that's how you set up a circuit. And I should show you real quick how to set up the lights. You'll notice, okay, actually let's go down here. I'll show you real briefly too how to set up the motion sensing lights. So at the moment, I don't have all the lights. I want to leave a couple of night lights on by the fridge, maybe. But these ones ones here, these big spotlights, I have hooked up to the motion sensor, which is right here above the door. So, you notice when I leave, they shut off. But when I walk in the building, they turn back on. So again, you get your signal, you set it up just like I did, but when you, hold on a sec. We'll make a switch real quick here. Base. Where are these switches? I need to make them in advance. Oh, here we go. No, it doesn't let us build a base switch here. That's annoying. Let's turn the generators on. Alright, here we go. So we want to build a... Oh, we have to select a source. So we're going to build a switch. There we go. Look at how quick that was. Didn't take any time to build at all. We're going to grab our switch. Now, when you're deciding what switch to use, oh, you see the lights come on there, motion sensor. Basically, you select your general universal switch, and then what you would do is you right-click, and this lets you select whether you want that toggle switch, whether you want the motion sensor. There's a light barrier. This is basically like a laser beam. If something crosses the laser beam, it triggers it. And there's might be applications for it, but I think most people generally feel that the motion sensor and the toggle switch are fine. And then for outdoors, you have trap doors. You have trap door multiple use, single use, multiple use. Then there's trigger plates, which might come in handy for something. So you set your motion sensor in place. Select P, devices, and the first thing you'll notice that'll happen is, again, we group it, put everything in a group. This one I called Level 1 Light Group. And basically I just have my sensor and my two lights. To create the zone that you want the sensor to cover, you can adjust these manually, but it's so much easier to click Interactive Setup, and it'll bring you to this menu. And so what's going to happen is this sensor will cover this whole area. Now to adjust it, you're going to use your number keypad, and you're going to use the left control to enlarge and the left control plus the left alt to shrink. So I haven't enlarged exactly how I want, but let's shrink it a bit. And so if I press 4, you can see it goes up. And if I want to enlarge it, I'm going to just press and hold the left control, press 4 again, and that raises and lowers your zone by 1 block. If we press 2, let's go ahead and press 2. Let's shrink that. And nothing seems to be shrinking. So let's see what exactly happened there. Shrink that in here. That must be for this side of the room. Let's try 8. Oh. Okay, there we go. So 8, as we can see, will shrink it in that direction. And that's with Control and Alt. Press and hold Control, and 8 will expand your zone to the left side. But of course, we need it to stretch all the way over here, so we're going to press and hold left Control and 8, and it covers this room. 5, let's shrink 5, and you can see it recedes in the other direction. Let's expand it again. Make sure it covers, or not, it doesn't quite cover all the way here. Let's add one more. There we go. So that is the easiest way, I think, to expand your zone. And when you're all done, when you're fairly happy with, as you can see, it goes up to there. When you're happy with your coverage, just hit escape, and you're back over here. And we've named this signal L1 lights. And when you see on our behavior, we call it L1 lights. This is for the sensor. The sensor signal is controlled by the L1 light signal. And then we have our lights. We simply select L1 lights here and follow. And that's all you need. And again, make sure, because what I was doing is I had this on follow, like I did on the other switch, and that turned out to create a short circuit. So make sure this is completely blank. You don't want the switch to follow itself. So make sure this is blank. And the only thing you want following are going to be your lights are going to follow your signal. And that's basically it. That's how you create a motion sensing lights and set up a toggle switch signal for different equipment. And hope you learned a few things there.